most admirable chasers you could possibly wish to see.
Welcome to the Racehour podcast in association with Bet365, the home of the position payout. I'm Rory Jiwani, and thanks for joining us for our latest preview podcast of the jump season. The big race of the weekend is the Tingle Creek at Sandown. We'll be looking at that and two other races at the Esher venue, plus two races from Aintree, including the Becher chase over the national fences. With me to mark your card, three experts when it comes to picking winners. And we've got to start with Bet365 guru Pat Cooney, who made it 4 weekend naps out of 4 last Saturday when Newton Tornado made all at Banger. Also with me are racing broadcaster Ed Quigley and the people's champion, Gambling.com, and French racing tipster Gary Connolly. Welcome to you all. Before we get stuck into the action, a very quick explanation of the position payout. This is Bet365's alternative to each-way betting and very useful for backing horses that never quite seem to get their head in front. In a nutshell, you'll get paid out more for second place than the place part of the standard each-way bet. And where there are extra each-way places, the position payout follows suit. Without further ado, we'll look at our first race, the 150 at Sandown. It's the Grade 1 Henry VIII novices steeplechase over 1 mile and 7.5 furlongs. Should be nigh on perfect jumping ground at Sandown. Bit of rain expected in the next couple of days. Nicky Henderson's Lulamba is the highest rated horse in the field at 153. And he's the 6-4 on favourite. He's the only 4-year-old. He gets £6 from his 3 rivals. And Henderson has 4 previous wins in this race, the last being John Bon in 2022. Main threats, be aware for the Skeltons, who won this last year with L'Eau du Sud, and Sam Thomas's Lump Sum in the Di Walters colours. They're both 9-2. Ollie Murphy's Al Nilam is the outsider of the 4 at 13-2. Ed, let's start with you. Lulamba looks very hard to oppose on the ratings. Any chinks in the armour that you can see?
Yeah, you're spot on in what you say, Rory, in terms of getting the age allowance and with the official rating on side. Yeah, it does have the class edge over the other 3. It was a smart performance, wasn't it, on Chase debut at Exeter? I do get the feeling he's going to be a stayer rather than a speedball at 2 miles. It's interesting you mentioned lovely jumping ground. I mean, at the time of recording, is officially soft, heavy in places on the hurdle track, good to soft, good in places on the chase course. So his ride is significantly quicker at the moment. But there is up to 16 millimetres of rain forecast Friday night into Saturday. So we could be looking at genuine soft ground. That's only going to play into the hands of the Lamba, I feel, who's, as I said, I think is going to be a proper stayer at the trip. He'll be over further in time, I have no doubt. Be Aware's a pretty keen going sort. He's got some good form already in the book. Analam, obviously got the better of Country Mile at Uttoxeter, and then at Cheltenham. Did it in pretty nice fashion. Seen off Country Mile again, and Gordon Elliott's representative on that day on ground that was pretty nice. I don't think he'd want the ground to go to pot personally. That'd be a bit of a worry for him. Lump Sum, he's the interesting one in here in the sense of his collateral form of his novice chase debut has been franked in no uncertain terms. I mean, he wiped the floor with Jacks Jr. and that horse came out and bolted up at Kempton subsequently. So there is a robustness to that form line. It just all leads you back to Lulamba, who is priced accordingly. So, yeah, tentatively, I would be going Lulamba to beat Lump Sum, but a race I'm happy to sit out. It's just with the Arco in mind and the bigger question, I'd just like to know if Lulamba's got the out-and-out gears for 2 miles. I'm just slightly on the fence for that, but no doubting his kind of raw quality and class. His price will tell you that. His CV will tell you that.
Yeah, Gary, Lulamba, what do you reckon? A play at 6-4 on?
No. Well, I think he'll win, but I won't be getting stuck in at those prices. As regards to the Arkle, I think he has absolutely no chance to win an Arkle. This 2 miles isn't his trip. He'll get away with it here. He's getting the way. The field's not great. The ground will come up in his favour, so he should be beating these. But come the spring on good ground against some speedy 2 milers, they'll eat him, I think. So he's a 2.5 miler all day long. Probably a watch and brief, but if I was going to have a bet, I'd probably be looking at Be Aware, maybe in the position payout or a match bet if I could get one against lump sum. I think he should be a bit short on the bet than lump sum. But that's the way I'd be looking at. Probably a watch and brief, but Be Aware in a match bet if I can get that sort of price. That'd be how I'd play.
Pat, can anything beat the favourite here, do you think?
Well, I suppose he'll win just by virtue of him being the most talented in the lineup, and he gets the £6. But I'm kind of what Gary and Ed have alluded to, really, in terms of the trip for the horse. Bear in mind the distance of this race is 1 mile 7 furlongs and 99 yards, so it's almost half a furlong shy of 2 miles. And I'm with the fellas. I think he'll be better over further in time. So maybe the softer ground will help negate the trip. I'm one of them, I'd rather just be sitting on the fence, enjoying it as a spectacle and seeing how good he is. When he won at Exeter, of course, on his chase day, a lot of the fences were doled off anyway, so it was hard to get a proper handle on how good he is. But round about 6-4 on, do you want to lay him or be with him? I think I'll just sit on the fence and enjoy the race as a spectacle and hope it goes well, because it'd be nice to have an English-Irish big clash in the Arkle. You got Kopek de Bourg, Romeo Courier might go Arkle bound as well. So it'd be good for the UK to have a leading player in the race. But as for having a bet in the race, there's plenty of racing on tomorrow. I'd rather sitting this one out.
So looks like a watching brief for the Henry VIII Novices Chase at Sandown. Anything but for our next race. It's the Becher Chase at Aintree. Handicap over 3 miles and 2 furlongs over the national fences. Going currently good to soft, but they're due about half an inch of rain, so it could be soft by Saturday. And the national course slightly softer than the mild May. No corresponding race last year after strong winds forced the meeting to be cancelled. Venetia Williams Chambard won it in 2023 under amateur rider Lucy Turner. Sarah Bradstock's Mr. Van Gogh carries top weight and is the 4-1 favourite. Pretty familiar names as far as staying chasers go in this one. There were some entered in this and the London National at Sandown, which we'll look at later. 13 declared and Bet365 paying out 4 places each way and 4 places on the position payout. Pat, who's been backed for this during the week and who do you like?
Well, the mover has been Gallia dell'Istituto, the Dan Skelton team. Tristan Durrell aboard, claiming an invaluable £3. He's certainly good value for that. And this one, she's got 10 stone 10. She was 12-1 at the start of the week. And it's what's not to love. Stays very well, loves soft ground, and has probably been mapped out for this race. That has been the mover. But top of the market is Mr. Van Gogh, the top weight, who's really, really talented horse when everything goes his way. Similar again, stays and likes the ground. But, the stats gurus in the office, sometimes they come up with some gems and sometimes they don't mean anything. But they were telling me this horse, Mr. Van Gogh, is rated 152. And horses rated 150 or more in this race are 1 win and 39 losers in the race. So 12 stone on testing ground could be a reason to get him beat. He's going to be very popular in the market, but it's a vibrant market. You've got the two stablemates, Gaborio and White Rhino. They're similar profiles, really, and they're about a similar price. So, it's intriguing. My eye is drawn to Bill Baxter of Warren Greatorex. If you like your trainers in form, I'd say probably Warren Greatorex at the moment is the most informed jumps trainer out there. And this horse won well at Punchestown back in May. The handicapper saw him when he went up 13, I think, for that win, but he did win by a wide margin, and it was a good run over hurdles last time out. So I think Bill Baxter will be a popular horse, and he's won round Aintree before. So he's got 11 stone 1, so he fits in quite nicely there. So if you like your stats, Mr. Van Gogh, he's got history against him.
Ed, I saw you nodding your head in agreement with Pat, was it?
Well, Bill Baxter made my shortlist of 2. I mean, he just missed out. But yeah, everything Pat said, really. The £13 hike may have found him out. But I actually interviewed Warren Greatorex a couple of weeks ago, and he said that basically this is to find out whether he's a Grand National horse or not, because he clearly likes the fences. He's won the Topham before. He does wing round here. It's just 9 rising 10. He's now, touching and rating a 140. Has the assessor kapooted him, if you like, but what offsets that is his ability to jump round here. So he narrowly missed out on the vote. I've gone with White Rhino only because the Green on Guerrero team said back in their stable bulletins in about 10 years ago that the target was this race. I was looking back at the stable updates end of September, and they said everything will be geared to getting him right for a Becher chase. Now, the yard haven't been firing on all cylinders, but I do like a horse who's been targeted at a race rather than a horse who's perhaps stumbled into this as a consequence of good recent form. And I thought White Rhino got everything that was needed from the recent comeback run at Aintree in the Grand Sefton. Obviously, over a shorter trip. Got no luck in running early on. Nearly got brought down at the third. Essentially got a nice day out and got a pound back from the handicapper. So back in handicap company, up in trip. More rain the merrier for this horse. This horse's peak form, peak ratings will come substantially soft ground. So White Rhino's been aimed at this for donkey's years. I'd imagine he'd give a good account of himself and is the small each way angle here. But do respect Bill Baxter. I'm just nervous the handicapper's got him, but I think he will absolutely wing it round here with Sam Twiston Davis on board.
Gary, just one Irish raider in this. It's Gavin Cromwell's Bioluminescence. Do you think he's got a chance? And what do you like the look of if it's not that one?
On her best form, she does, but you can't back a Cromwell horse at the moment. It's just rancid, his form. So, as much as I like her, now I wouldn't be touching anything from that stable until they turn a corner. I have got stuck into one this week. I think Western in the Park for Ali Murphy has a right chance here. Again, like the lads, I think this has been a season target, early season target from at least, and comes here on the back of a decent fort at Carlisle last month. I thought he was actually coming to win the race, and he just blew up after the last and just got ran out of places close home. Usually he's a good jumper, which is standing well around here. He liked the ground. He's getting loads away from Mr. Vango. So he just ticks a lot of boxes, and he's a double figure price. So I think he's well working stuck into.
So there you go. And apologies, yes, Bioluminescence, a mare, of course, in the JP McManus colours. But as you say, Gavin Cromwell, totally out of form at the moment. That's the Becher chase. And as we said, we've got the extra place for the each way, 4 places each way in the Becher. Now, on to the highlight of the day. The 3 o'clock at Sandown is the Grade 1 Tingle Creek chase. Again, over a mile, 7.5 furlongs. John Bon will go for the hat-trick here. He was also entered in Sunday's Peterborough Chase at Huntingdon, but he has stood his ground for the big one. Rated 167, but he's only third in the betting at 4-1. Ahead of him, Loda Sood, who won last year's Henry VIII, fourth in the Arkle, having led over the last. Very impressive in the slower chase last month, and came home 15 lengths clear of John Bon, who didn't jump well that day. Loda Sood, he's still behind John Bon in the ratings at 163, but he's 9-4. The odds-on favourite, Willie Mullins' Il Était Temps, third in the 2024 Arkle, but unbeaten since. Beat John Bon in the Celebration Chase at Sandown in April, and obliged at short odds on his seasonal debut at Clonmel last month. Rated top of the field 169, 5-4 on. The other two, Liberty Hunter and Boot Hill, plenty to find on the ratings. It's great that the big 3 are all going to line up. Gary, I'm not sure I expected Il Était Temps to be odds on. Is he a fair price to you?
No, like against these two, like he looks very short, doesn't he? Like he should be favourite, but at odds on, he'd probably be a pass for me. I'd probably just back at purely at the prices Loda Sood. I'm making a match race, like Loda Sood slapped John Bon out of the way in the slow. I think John Bon probably needs a trip nowadays. He'll run his race, but I don't think he'll get near the front 2. And I think Loda Sood is the speedier of the 2. And if he's going to beat the favourite, he'll be around here, this sort of trip, this track. And just at the prices, it's you have to back him. So that's when we carry my money, Loda Sood.
Ed, do you think John Bon has another big race left in him, or is it a 2-horse race, as Gary thinks?
Definitely does have another big race in him, but I think the salient point is what Gary mentioned. There's clearly a division in camp here about whether in the twilight of his career, if I can call it that, whether he should be going up in trip, because he was entered in the Peterborough Chase on Sunday. And again, I always like to read through some of the early stable bulletins to get the ideas of what the trainer's insights. And the King George was initially mooted for for John Bon, but then it seemed to have been poo-pooed by JP McManus and the team, and he's sticking to the 2-mile route. So, yeah. I mean, is John Bon still John Bon? That is, he's 9 rising 10. He was obviously thumped at Cheltenham by Loader Sud last time out. I mean, Ilete Tom went past him like he was a statue in the celebration chase over course of distance back in April. And then the Aintree run over 2.5 was very good in beating Protectorat. But then at 2 miles the time before that, he was thumped in the champion chase, albeit with a bit of drama in the race. So, a horse who used to have a real profile of even when he was getting beaten, just getting touched off, he's had 3 absolute hidings in his last 4 starts. I just wonder whether a slight blend of Father Time combined with just not having the gears for the 2 miles anymore is perhaps just starting to catch up on him. I think Ilete Top will just probably win, to be honest with you. How should we say? I think Ilete Top wins this, but I actually think Loader Sud's a real player for the champion chase. Ilete Top's got stinking form at Cheltenham. So's John Bon. I actually think the champion chase, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but looking 4 months' time, I don't think it's the deepest of races at the moment. I mean, Sergino might be going back over hurdles. Marie Nationale missed his comeback in the Fortria. Won't be back till Christmas. It's an absolute mess, the 2-mile chasing division. So I wouldn't be put off if Loader Sud lost here to Ilete Tom. I think he'd easily get his revenge back at Presbury Park. We saw how he just oozed class, didn't he, last time out in thumping John Bon. And I think they're 2 young horses to keep on side. But yeah, unoriginal. I expect Ilete Tom to win. I think Loader Sud probably following home. And yeah, John Bon's unfortunate, his record of never been out the top 2 over obstacles, I think may go on this occasion. I see the devil's advocate side of the argument about 4-1 about inverted commas the best horse in the race in John Mon, but he's been the best horse in the race on 3 of the last 4 occasions when he's been thumped. So yeah, not for me, poor John Mon. Love him, but I would love to have seen him in a King George, just bowl along over 3 miles. It'd been fascinating to see. But anyway, going off on a tangent, yeah, Ilete Tom to beat Loader Sud.
There you go. That's Ed's view. Pat, have we seen much money in this race? And who do you like in the Tingle Creek?
Well, there wasn't a great deal of money for it because, as Ed touched on there, John Bon was entered on Sunday as well. So that kind of put a stop to the market. John Bon, yeah, I'm with Ed here, really. He's had 24 races, 18 wins and 6 seconds. He's never been out the 2 in his career, but I think he will be on Saturday. The only hope I can give you for John Bon, he is wearing cheek pieces for the first time. I don't know how much that's going to help him. So I think he's booked for 3rd here. I think Loader Sud 2nd. But the key horse is Lete Tom. And when he won our celebration chase at Sandown in April, I was lucky enough for you to see a picture of it up there. I presented the trophy to Willie Mullins and Danny Mullins, and Willie Mullins said to me that he was amazed that the horse won. He was, of course, trying to win enough prize money on the final day to secure the Trainers' Championship. And I think he had 3 runners in the race. And he said to Danny Mullins, look, we're here for the place prize money. Just try and pass as many as you can up the home straight. And he thought it'd be either 3rd or 4th. And when he went past John Bon on the bridle, Willie Mullins could not believe it. And he just said to me, I said to him, well, John Bon is the king of Sandown and you've made him look ordinary. And he says, oh, well, we'll come back here for the Tingle Creek and we'll probably meet him again. So look, just those words just have stuck with me. And I think because it is the Tingle Creek at Sandown, the way Lete Tonk won that day was so easy. And, Willie Mullins was just hoping to get him there to get, say, 2nd, 3rd or 4th place prize money. So to me, he is the best horse in the race. I think he is a bit fragile, but I'm sure he's come here at the top of his game. I agree with Ed here. If it was at Loader Sud, if it was at Cheltenham, well, that might be a bit different. And, I could see wisdom in that. But from what happened in our race at April and what I was told afterwards, I can only believe the favourite is the best horse in the race.
So that is the Tingle Creek. Plenty of optimism for Il Était Temps. But if they met at Cheltenham, Loader Sud could exact revenge. Back to Aintree now. This is the new William Hill Racing Bet Builder handicap hurdle over 2.5 miles. It's the 3:15 at Aintree. Dan Skelton saddles top weight Katera with Harry Atkins taking £7 off. But the stable's first string is 11-4 favourite Knickerbocker Glory with Harry Skelton up top. Glyn Bray next best for the Twiston Davis team. Another competitive handicap, 11 runners, and again, Bet365, extra place on the each way. 4 places each way and 4 places on the position payout. Pat, let's start with you here. Any horses attracting the punters for this one?
Well, the main mover has been Glyn Bray, really, for the Twiston Davis team. And this one has a recent win to its name. And I think he's got a very good claiming jockey on Toby McCain Mitchell, who claims 5. I think that's going to make a big difference to the horse. But the likes of Go Dante with Sean Bowen and Ollie Murphy, that's round about 9. That was a double figure price. But Knickerbocker Glory, Dan Skelton, again, he's got good course and distance winning form. We've not seen him for 230 odd days. Now, he won first time out last season. There's always a presumption that they'll be ready to go, the Skelton team, first time out. But I'm not sure if you'd want to be finding out around about 3-1 to your money. But there's some familiar names to go in the handicaps. I was actually looking at Metier, number 4 on the card. He's got miserable form figures, PPO. But he's got a recent run on the flat. I suppose it's how good is your memory, really, because he looks quite well handicapped to me off a 1-3-3. But I think you have to ignore some of his recent attempts at hurdling. Another familiar name is Goshen as well. So I just think you look at Knickerbocker Glory. A 9-year-old, I just think is one of these fragile-looking favourites at the head of the market. So I'll take Glyn Bray because I've seen it win recently, and I think the claiming rider's very good.
The 3:15 at Aintree is the new William Hill Racing Bet Builder handicap hurdle over 2.5 miles. Brewing Up a Storm carries top weight for Ollie Murphy, but stablemate Rambo T is the favourite, only carrying £2 less. James Bowen on board. 10 lining up for this one. Pat, let's start with you here. Any horses attracting the punters?
Well, I was interested to see how Brewing Up a Storm would go in the market, because to me, he's the best handicapped horse in the race. He races off a mark of 145, and he used to be 158. So he's almost a stone lower than at his peak, but we've not seen him for 588 days. So he's hard to back, but it'd be interesting to see how he goes in the market. Pretty much the mover of the race has been Rambo T for Ollie Murphy, who trains Brewing Up a Storm, and Active Authority, who's another one with a solid chance. So I think Rambo T, he went up £6 for winning last time out, which seems fair enough, and goes on the ground. The interesting horse, I suppose, another one is Wellington Arch, who's got the course and distance win, but that represents the John Joe O'Neill team. And, they're only just coming back. They closed the stable down because they were unhappy with the well-being of the horses. So, their first runner back was the other day. It was a big price, but it ran poorly. So I think it'd be hard to back a John Joe O'Neill, AJ O'Neill horse at the moment, as talented as this horse is. So I could see him being a drifter. And the other way that I was looking at this race, Rory, is that where the pace of the race is, you've got Bear Market likes to make it, Rubber Ball, Streamer Stars. They're all horses that like to go forward. So as much as I respect Rambo T, I thought his stablemate Active Authority might just be the one here, because Lewis Saunders rides him, claims 5, and Lewis Saunders, it looks like it is his ride, and rightly so. He seems to get on well with the horse. And Active Authority is a hold-up horse, so let the other pacemakers get on with it, and he can creep that bit nearer into it. So maybe Active Authority, but Ollie Murphy's got a strong hand in this race, so I wouldn't rule out Rambo T by any means.
Yeah, this does look very competitive. Rambo T, the 4-1 favourite, Bear Market and Wellington Arch, both 9-2, 6-1 bar those. Gary, this looks a bit of a puzzle. What do you fancy?
Yeah, it's a cracking little betting race, isn't it? I'm going to go right to the foot of the weight, so I like Sunray Shadow here. Course and distance winner last October. I thought he won with a bit more in hand there. He was absolutely rotten on his reappearance, 6s out to whatever price you wanted, and never put in the race as was to be expected, I suppose, on the back of that. Goes back up in trip today. I'd expect him to be much more forwardly ridden. Double figure price out there, and there should be a bit more to come. So there's a bit of juice in that mark he's on. So he'll do for me. Sunray Shadow.
Ed, this sort of race you like, isn't it?
Yep.
Fancy anything at a big price?
Not at a massive price, but I'm with Pat here. I think Active Authority. Obviously Ollie Murphy's got 3 in here. Brewing Up a Storm, great to see the old boy back, rising 13 after 588 days off. I think I read it somewhere. I may have this wrong, so don't sue me. But I think it was a case of getting him back on the track for one final hurrah for Fontwell's National Spirit Hurdle in the spring. So I think this is probably serving two fronts here. It's keeping the weights down and it's getting the old boy ready for his back to his happy hunting ground for his kind of retirement run in February. So I think Act of Authority, he does not get 3 miles. They keep trying 3. He's a stare at 2.5. Every time he goes up to 3, the old petrol gauge comes on. All his wins, well, he's never won beyond 2.5 miles. That kind of tells you all you need to know. And if he can run to the form he did at the Cheltenham Festival, of course, when he chased home Wadhu, I mean, that form's looking very tasty now, isn't it? And off a mark in the 130s, I thought he was a solid each-way player, personally. So, yeah, tricky old Trapley race. Again, totally agree with Pat. We're on each other's Christmas cards list, definitely, because, Wellington Arch, John Joe, only 20 minutes from me. Yeah, they shut the yard down for nearly a month. So many of the horses were running too bad to be true. I mean, they were beaten after 2 flights of hurdles, did a load of blood tests, all sorts of irregularities. All right. Loads of theories going around. They may have had bacteria in the hay supply. They don't know, basically. But they, bolted the doors kind of lockdown style for 3 weeks. And now they're just starting to get the runners out in dribs and drabs. I want to see the yard start to hit some form before taking 4-1, 9-2 in a competitive heat about a yard who haven't had a runner more or less for a month, let alone a winner. So, yeah, Act of Authority, Ollie Murphy, solid chance here, 2.5 miles, good form in the book. And I think should go well. I think we're 6-1 each way, aren't we, Pat? Or thereabouts. That'll do me.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, Ollie Murphy, as the guys say, a strong hand in that race at Aintree. We move on to the lucky last at Sandown, the final race we're going to be looking at, the 3:35. It's the London National Handicap Chase over 3 miles, 4.5 furlongs. Mr. Van Gogh won on heavy ground last year, but as we've discussed, he's gone to Aintree for the Becher Chase. Tanganyika carries top weight for Venetia Williams. He's rated 140 and is prominent in the betting. But the 11-4 favourite is O'Connell for Joel Parkinson and Sue Smith. Next best is Ask Brewster at 100 to 30 for Evan Williams. Harry Cobden takes the ride and he's going for a 4-timer. 7 runners here, but Bet365 going 3 places each way here and 3 places on the position payout. Ed, looks like there might be a couple of unexposed, perhaps promising staying chasers in this one. Anything take your fancy?
Yeah, I'm changing my my handle on X. I'm favourite _Ted for this. O'Connell, yeah, sod your unexposed 6-year-olds. No, I'm with the 9-year-old. I think this has got a cracking chance. For a horse of his age, not actually all that exposed. He's only had 15 chase starts, as 9 rising 10, but Sandown form in the book, any rain that arrives, the more the merrier. I mean, when he won at Sandown back in February, it was almost unraceable ground. So he will not mind it if they get the upper end of the rainfall that is forecast. I think the comeback run at Carlisle was a lovely comeback run to remove the ring rust. And if you look at his profile in previous seasons, including last year, he needed the run, funny enough, at Carlisle on his comeback and then went and won second time out. So clearly they were using that as a springboard on the back of 250 days off coming into this. Back at Sandown, rain arriving. Yeah, 132 poses another question in regards to, how much does the handicapper have a hand on O'Connell? But I think sometimes you can get a little bit too caught up with weights and measures when it comes to a race like this. It's a battle of wills, 3.5 miles, soft ground. Who wants it more? And O'Connell is your proper scrapper. And I just think you're outstayed them. So, yeah, Gavin Sheehan, who's having a lovely time of things, obviously, with his rapport with Jamie Snowden, jockey riding full of confidence. And great to see Sue Smith back, firing in winners. Actually, we were talking about Mr. McGoldrick's grand annual win in 2008 back the other day. And, the Smith yard, they've had, 4 winners in the last week or so. Great to see some of the, dare I say, the veteran handlers having a bit of an Indian summer. And, yeah, I think O'Connell will take a lot of beating.
Yeah, it's an interesting race because, I mean, Pat, when the outsider of the 7 is only 12-1, and that's Chester Williams, Jupiter Allen, I'm inclined to think it's too difficult to have a bet. What do you think?
Yeah, well, mark me down as another O'Connell fan, really, and I just think the race sets up well for him. He won really well here over 3 miles in February, and then he was second in the Ida over 4 miles and a bit, so we know he's got a bit of class for this 3.5 miles, and he stays very well. and he travels so well through his races, you know. And I look at the rest of the field, the top weight of Venetia Williams. Well, we're still playing Venetia Williams bingo, really, aren't we? Saying she's not quite flying at the moment, and I wouldn't want to be with that one off 12 stone over 3.5 miles. I think Ask Brewster is the interesting one. He's won his last three off 103, 112, 121, now 129. So he seems to be going up in clumps of 8s or 9s. Harry Cobden as well. I think that's an intriguing booking. Only a 6-year-old. I was just wondering how they're going to ride him. They'd like to go forward with him over the 3 miles. He's not gone 3.5 before. So are they going to ask the 6-year-old to go off and make all over 3.5 miles? But I do know there's quite a few people say Harry Cobden is the best front running jockey out there. So if I was Evan Williams, I'd just say to Harry, look, you go out there and do your own thing. I think it's a fascinating race. I was trying to put up Invincible Now because it's Gary and Josh Raw and they do well with these types of horses. But, he's been winning class 3s and this is a class 2. So that might just find him out. So I just keep coming back to O'Connell now. I watched that February win back again. He won very easily that day, so he'll be going up the hill strong enough. And I think he's the type of horse the public will latch on to. So, that's a couple of O'Connells there at the moment.
Gary, are you going to make it 3 votes for O'Connell, or are you going to back something else?
The nice guys always get out on the last, Rory, and they get out on the last with the favourite. O'Connell will win here. What the lad said, his Carlisle run is going to be franked when Western in the Park wins the Becher. So another tick in the box. Clean sweep for O'Connell here.
Wow. So there you go. That's the 5 races on ITV this weekend looked at with a very positive claims for O'Connell in the London National. And if he does get to the front, let's just hope the jockey doesn't mistake the winning post, as has happened a few times in the London National down the years. Time now to open this discussion up to other action in Britain and Ireland this weekend, or you can stick to one you've already selected at Sandown or Aintree. Got to start with Pat Cooney. 4 out of 4. Pat, give us the 5th winner in this great run you're having.
Okay, I'm off to Aintree in the 12.58 for the top one, Pleasington. Now, I might have a bit of an inside edge here because I was at Cheltenham the day he ran, and he's part owned by Max McNeil, and I actually watched the race with him. And Max said to me, he needs it badly. I'm not expecting too much. Let's hope he runs okay. He's a horse that hasn't run that often. He's quite lightly raced, so presumably hard to train. And he just said, look, I just hope he runs well. He'll blow up at some point. Well, he ran never such a good race, a real mighty performance. He is a little bit wayward. He sometimes wanders left and right, but maybe they think that's just down to being inexperienced. But it was a real taking run, and Connections were absolutely thrilled with the performance. Now, he only went up a pound. That looks strong form to me. And to me, I think that he's just the best horse in the race, and this could be something where he could go on to bigger and better things. So Pleasington, he was Pleasington by name and by nature, really, on that comeback run. Connections weren't expecting him to run that well, so presumably they've worked well since, and he appeals to me. So hopefully it'll be 5 from 5. Pleasington, 12.58 at Aintree.
Pleasington is Pat Cooney's pick, and I do believe that Bet365 are going to enhance the price on that horse. I think that's from Friday. So if you're going to follow Pat in for hopefully 5 in a row, you'll get a bigger price about it with Bet365. Ed, over to you, your nap of the weekend.
Well, I got a feeling myself and Gary are taking each other on here. So we can either go 2 naps in this race or I'll switch. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I'm going 225 Sandown. Go Dante is going to be the selection. Ollie Murphy, Sean Bowen, a beaten over course and distance, won the last 2 Imperial Cups. Always needs the seasonal run. Trainer said he needed the seasonal run. It was over 2.5 miles at Bangor-on-Dee. Essentially was there to be spot on for this. It is only £3 higher when winning the last Imperial Cup. Love soft ground. You're going well. I thought there were a lot of ticks in the right boxes. Am I mistaken, Pat? Are you going 4 places in this? If you are, the 13-2 on offer each way makes plenty of appeal to me. But if it's too much controversy to have a nap in the same race as Gary, I'm going O'Connell. He's the next best in the race we previously discussed.
I was going to say you were so bullish about O'Connell, Gary.
They're my 2 versus for the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Gary, are you going to go for O'Connell as your nap of the weekend? Or have you got something somewhere else?
No, myself and Ed are going to have a good old-fashioned Irish v English tear-up. I am going 225 Sandown, Knickerbocker Glory to follow up last year's win in the race. Slapping the mean lion out of the way last season in it. We saw what he's done to the form. He ran very well last week in the fight in fifth. Sidestepped the Great Woods for this one. An unreal record, fresh, and it's not a Saturday without a skeleton, boys. Having a winner or two. So Knickerbocker Glory to beat Ed's and send me home happy.
So there you go. Those are the naps from the guys. And that's it for this week's Racehour podcast in association with Bet365, the home of the position payout. My thanks to Ed Quigley, Gary Connolly and Pat Cooney. I'm Rory Jiwani. Thanks for your company. Good luck with your bets and see you again next week.
Relentless, remorseless, and pounded Cordon Star into submission.